Didn't you think to change?
Nah, it's fine. It's fine. I'll move across a little bit so you can move into the frame a bit more.
Hi, everyone. I didn't even notice you were wearing a nudie, to be honest. This is just life for us.
I've really dressed up for you all tonight.
You came into the room and I didn't put two together.
It's been a long day. It's comfy.
It's cold as well.
It's great.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Alex.
And I'm Ben.
And we are married with dragons. Once we saw that live screen, I was like,
I kind of forgot about it as well until I saw myself on stream. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I haven't done my hair. The beard's all skewy.
It's been a long week.
It's been a very long week already. Still a day left. But that's okay. We're here to talk about Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes, that's right. So to kick it off, a little story.
Yeah. Yes. So there's a bit of I like to do themes. If you haven't noticed, by the way, I try to have a bit of a theme for the episodes, and the story fits in with a little bit with tonight's topic theme. Basically about stuff going in ways you didn't quite expect during D&D. And I can remember we were playing in a campaign. I was a player in this campaign. I wasn't DMing with you. And we were following clues trying to find this particular artifact. And I think that we actually did a pretty good job of deciphering some of the information, figuring out some of the clues, locating where this artifact might be that was going to help us on our quest. And I can remember we reached this sort of... I can't remember if it was a castle or if it was a house. It was some creepy building, and
I think it was a house.
It might have been like a big mansion type thing. I can remember looking in, and I think we saw both skeletons as well as giant spiders.
And that's just a huge note from us.
Huge note. Like we're still outside at this point. We're looking and we're like, oh, okay, all right. Not feeling it. And then we're looking over the clues again. We're like, wait a minute. Wait a hot darn minute. And so we end up walking right around to the back of this mansion, looking up at this huge tower, which is sort of pointed to in the clues. Yeah. And we can see there's a window up there. I'm like, okay. So one of the party members casts fly on themselves, flies up to the top of the tower, and breaks the window. And in the window, there just happens to be an item that fits the description of the magical item that we've been looking for. So he yanks it. We're expecting like some death trap to happen. It doesn't. Everything goes fine. Smashes the window. Yanks this artifact. Flies back down. And I can just remember us all in sort of this like shell-shocked state. It was kind of like, did we just
kind of cheat?
Like cheat the whole, like cheese this whole area,
like the loophole. Yeah,
it's like in the video games where you like find a glitch and you can just walk through the wall into the other side of the area. Like I can remember just sitting there like, no, there's got to be consequences for this. Like it can't be that easy. But legitimately, we thought outside the box, got creative. I actually haven't specifically asked the DM about that for that game, if that like just threw him off or infuriated him or something.
We broke the dungeon.
Because I'm assuming that area would have actually been quite a significant sort of dungeon area if we had have actually gone in and done it legitimately. But no, we cheesed the whole thing.
Yeah, sometimes that happens.
It was great. It was certainly, I can just remember this aftermath of just sitting there thinking, all right, when are we going to get punished? There's going to be a trap. There's going to be something going on. But no, I think it was just we were smart. We thought about it and we deciphered the clues and gave the DM a big headache. Which if you're a player not giving your DM a headache, what are you doing wrong?
Exactly.
I kid, of course. Yeah. Please do not torment or torture your dungeon masters.
Or you'll
please.
You'll suffer the consequences.
Yes, which I thought we would suffer, but it was what it was. And then we got to just walk away saying, see ya to the skeletons and the giant spiders and whatnot. Like, not going to bother with that.
Yeah, which would have been a huge note from me because spiders are a huge note altogether.
And there was one person in our party that was really against... Like, I don't like spiders in real life. There was one person in our party who was really against the spiders. And I can remember, like, we were sitting there talking to her, like, do you not like spiders or does your character not like the spiders? Like, you got to overcome your fears in D&D.
Exactly.
But yeah, that will forever be one memory of, we totally just... I think as well, because obviously, being a dungeon master myself, I understand like how much prep can go into like, dungeon areas like that, trying to make sure that you understand certain mechanics and whatnot. So like, I can remember like looking back thinking, I wonder if the DM spent like a good hour or so
Yeah.
like, familiarising himself with this area for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, how much they
Like,
spent planning.
yeah, for nothing. Like it was.
Yeah. But I feel like that's bound to happen in campaigns. Yeah.
I'm sure it happens. Well, it does happen all the time. But that's the beauty of D&D.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's our story for tonight. Sort of fits
Yeah.
into the theme. Like, so we're going to be talking about when things go wrong in Dungeons and Dragons for the topic tonight. So sort of fits in a little bit with that. Didn't go wrong for the players, but potentially threw the DM off a little bit. But I think you've got a bit of news for
I
us.
do. So this is something that's not going wrong, something that's going right.
Yes, off the theme for a minute.
So D&D is currently got their D&D live happening. It's happening tomorrow. I don't have the Australian times.
You had one job.
It does kick off tomorrow, so that you should find news over Twitter.
So what are the American times?
The American times, Eastern time.
Yeah, but like just the...
Oh, it starts from 3 p.m. Eastern time.
3 p.m, so that'd be like, what is it, 18 hours difference?
I don't even know. I don't understand
So
America half the time.
it's going to be like 6 a.m. or something.
Yeah,
it'll air
something,
Australian time.
yeah.
But it'll be the day before? Ugh. Yeah,
Yeah.
because we're in
It
the future.
confuses
We're
me.
in the future. That
Yes.
sounds
But for
interesting.
any Americans that are watching, it starts off at 3 p.m. Eastern time. I was about to say Eastern Standard Time, but I don't know if that's
I'm
thing.
not entirely familiar with.
But Eastern time in America, and so it's a 2-day event. It also features on the Friday, the 17th as well, and it pretty much is a bunch of panels where they have DM discussions, D&D discussions. They are, I think Magic the Gathering is also going to be in there for a little bit with the crossover. And they'll be discussing more about the new book, The Wild Beyond the Witchlight, as well.
I knew you'd struggle with the name.
The Wild Beyond the Witchlight.
Something about that book name, for some reason, your brain just
twister.
doesn't like it.
I go to say and I can't process it. And on day 2, they also have some cosplay, cooking, and just more panels, especially with Strixhaven as well. Why do they make the D&D books so hard to say?
Oh, goodness. I, for one, am very excited. I love hearing more and more stuff, especially from, Wizards of the Coast and stuff like, the people who are involved in a lot of the, what's the opposite of homebrew? My brain is just done with today.
That's what I'm thinking. I was like, I'm prepared.
The non-homebrew content.
I'm going live, and then once I hit live, I'm like, it's just monkeys clapping in my brain.
Well, that's been me since like lunchtime today. It's
Yeah.
fine. But anyway, the makers of the official, that's the word I was thinking of, the official D&D
Yeah.
content.
Yeah, so it's like a lot of content for those 2 days. So even if you can have a look online to see when that time fits your specific area in Australia, because
Or just catch up on it. It'll be recorded and you'll be able to watch it afterwards if you wanted to do that. But I believe that they're going to be, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe they're going to be like answering questions from people as well.
Yep.
So it'll be really interesting to hear what they've got to say in response to some questions from the community.
Yeah, and if you keep your eye on socials, especially D&D socials, hashtags, you'll find all the news. It'll be popping up throughout the 2-day event, and I'm sure there's going to be lots of discussion about it. But there's going to be a couple of announcements as well, and I'm excited to see what comes from it.
Absolutely.
We'll do a recap.
Is it a brand, something about a brand new unannounced book?
I think so. They do have. This is the one. They have an event called Unannounced Book Deep Dive.
Ooh.
So I don't know anything about it. It seems mysterious.
You're gonna have to tune in.
We'll cover all of that next week. So I'm guessing that's a surprise reveal announcement. So once I saw unannounced book, I was like, ooh. But
that'd be very exciting.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun things going on.
I'm definitely going to be. I don't think I'll be able to tune in live, but I'm definitely going to be watching it back for sure.
Oh, definitely. But so that's the fact that it starts off tomorrow. Kicks off then, and it's pretty exciting.
See what comes of it.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see.
So that's good news. Let's get back on track with the bad stuff. I'm joking. I'm joking, of course. It's not bad, but the topic of sort of when things go wrong in D&D. I suppose we should probably read it like when things don't go as planned.
Yes.
Not necessarily go wrong.
When the unpredictable happens.
Just every damn day in D&D.
And when you think you've got things figured out, and the twists and turns of the adventure.
Can be just the fate of the dice. Even a simple dice
True.
roll can certainly turn
Yeah.
things on their heads as well. For both DMs and players alike, doesn't really matter what role you're playing in the game. Things will go the way that you don't expect.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that it's interesting, like speaking to people when things don't go the way they anticipated, or experiencing when people have things don't go the way anticipated, and seeing the way that they deal with those sorts of things, both as a DM and as a player as well.
Yeah, I feel so. What you said before, I find when things go wrong, most of the time when I notice it, it's usually in combat. Like you might have this big
Strategic.
I don't.
You need some caffeine or something.
Strategic is not a word.
It is not a word, correct.
Strategic thinking, and either I'm guessing, either someone else is doing the same kind of thing you're doing.
Like in the story we said last week, where you wanted to cast your brand new spell, and the person in the turn in front of you did it first.
Yeah, or the dice rolls. Like I know the last session we had, I had these attacks or these spells that I really wanted to do, and I think I cast the same spell 3 or 4 times,
and just didn't
and
work.
None of them hit. So it was
the enemy that you were trying to it kept making it save its spell save that it had to make. I think it was a wisdom save. It just kept making it.
Yeah,
and I can remember rolling like, it sucks, but that's the way it goes.
I think when you're in that kind of position as well, you kind of have to think: do I want to rely on the dice rolls and potentially waste all of my spells, or you have to then now think your way around it?
And funnily enough, doesn't matter whether you're a player or a DM, I think the best way to deal with when things don't go as planned is, and there is a pun here, and I'm sure you're going to love it, the best way to deal with it is just roll with it.
Yeah.
Oh, get in and roll with a D&D pun. I'm hilarious.
Yeah.
So basically what I mean by that is I feel like the core essence of the game is that there is that chance, that fate, that luck factor as well. And you can have all the best laid plans in the world, but at the end of the day, stuff goes wrong. You get curveballs thrown at you, but that's what makes it exciting. That's what makes it fun, because you never know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think particularly as a player, it's really important not to let, when stuff like that happens, bog you down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like we've all experienced those players who have a plan or want to do a spell or something. It doesn't work. It doesn't go as planned. Something goes wrong, and they just put out the bottom lip.
Yeah.
They've had enough.
And they're done.
They're sad about it. They're throwing their dice. They're putting their hands in the air. There's nothing worse.
No, and it is frustrating, because especially if you are in combat and you see everyone else hitting, you don't want to be letting your team down as well. So when you don't hit, or when your spells don't go to plan, it can be frustrating, because you want to help, and then you don't want to feel like you're doing nothing either.
Yeah.
So.
Or even just like, if the group's put together a plan and it just isn't panning out.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the way it is. But in all honesty, I feel like even though you might not realise it at the time, some of that sort of stuff makes the best stories.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like some of that stuff makes the funniest, recounts of, remember when we tried to do this and it just didn't work at all. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Like even stories like, I remember when we all died here trying to do this stupid thing and it didn't work and it was hilarious. Like, all right, it might suck a little bit at the time, but you know what I mean? Failure is part of the game, and having things go wrong is part of the game. And I think that you want to embrace that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You want to embrace that as a player. You want to have fun with that side of it as well.
You've got to take on the faults in your adventure as well, because it could develop into something either something really iconic, or it could lead to something that was better than the original plan too.
Yeah.
It causes you to think outside the box. And
perfect example. I just thought of that. We've told this story previously on an earlier episode where we'd split the party. Part of the group was sort of trying to sneak in through the back, and the rest of you, yourself included, are at this dinner table trying to distract the person. Now, the plan was to get in without being known, like get in undercover, all sneaky, get in, get out, no worries. And the first thing you do, first thing you do to the big baddie that's in this place is you immediately tell them, oh yes, we're here to infiltrate you. Not in those words exactly, but... Yeah. Instantly spilled the beans.
Yeah, because I forgot the finer details from last session.
The finer details, like the detail you had to remember.
Look, I'm pretty sure my my charisma was quite low as a character. I was a half-orc fighter.
Yes, yeah. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is, as a player, like, I was one of the people that was trying to sneak in the back, do the whole stealth side of the mission. I didn't get, like, upset or frustrated with the fact that you did that. I was like, I just sort of like, that's hilarious. I can't believe that happened. And all of a sudden, we're in this dangerous, tricky situation. We're in the house and we're not meant to be. And you know what I mean? Like, it just sort of evolved from there, and it made for a great story.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's much better to look at it, like, in that moment. Like, you know, I looked at it and think, that's hilarious. Now we're up shit creek now.
Yeah.
Rather than getting frustrated and be like, oh, bloody hell, the whole plan's going out the window. Let's just, you know, I'm done.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? Like, it's you want to try and have fun with it.
Yeah, definitely.
And, you know, the rolling of the dice is a really prominent core mechanic of Dungeons and Dragons. There's meant to be chance and with chance possibility of failure.
Yeah.
And I think that if you go in expecting to succeed all the time, you know, that's not a great mindset for D&D, because you're gonna fail. Guarantee you could have the most overpowered, strong, perfection character build ever, you're still gonna fail sometimes.
Yeah.
It's part of the game.
Yeah, definitely.
But then on the opposite side of the coin, the other really big part of when things don't go as planned is from the DM's perspective, which has more chance, I guess, to really negatively impact the story, potentially, or the gameplay, I should say, potentially. Particularly if, say, for example, obviously every DM is going to have a different amount of preparation that they do before sessions. If you're a DM that does, and this is why I try not to do this, if you're a DM that does an excessive amount of preparation, you try to prepare for every possible detail, you've got a heap of prep done, and then all of a sudden the party does something that you weren't expecting and it just goes off the rails.
And you gotta wing it.
All of a sudden it's like, oh my god, what do I do? Yeah. And I feel like generally the response will be A, to railroad the party back to the area that you want them to be in, taking away the fun, taking away agency, and generally is pretty easily noticed by the party. Or freak out and then just have to improv and potentially get frustrated with it. And you're like, oh, you guys weren't supposed to do this, you know what I mean? And it's really important as a dungeon master to just, again, roll with it. I'm loving that line. And just say yes to what your players want to do, because that's that's some of the fun part from the DM perspective as well, is that you're seeing what's happening as you go as well. You don't know what's going to happen because the players are coming up with it as they go. And it can be a really scary thing for a dungeon master to do, to just go off the map and sort of just be like, yeah, sure, you guys can give that a go and give it a try and just role play and wing it. But I guarantee you it's very, very much worth it, I think. And it's a skill that as a dungeon master you can develop over time.
Have you ever had, like, where you have planned a whole area and we just never touched it?
Oh, to an extent, for sure. Particularly, so in Tomb of Annihilation, the campaign I've run previously before, that's
It's got a lot of rooms and especially when you
yeah, I mean the end part of the campaign is one massive dungeon. Obviously, I tried to make sure that I was really familiar with the dungeon mechanics and how it worked, because obviously, you know, you could go left or right and walk into any room at any point in time. So I had to make sure that obviously I was prepared for that sort of stuff, and obviously you guys didn't go into every single room. Again, you know, with the hex crawl part as well, the big hex crawl exploration part of the campaign. Sometimes, you know, a session might end and the party would be quite close to a specific location in the jungle, and you know, you could very easily end up at this location next session.
Yeah.
So generally what I'd do is at the end of a session, I wouldn't go super in depth, but generally if there was like a mini dungeon area or something with like specific NPCs or anything with a little bit of complexity to it, I would try and at least prepare to some extent areas that are sort of nearby where you were travelling at the time. And I guarantee you there were plenty of those that you didn't get to that I did prep for that you just didn't happen to stumble across.
Do you feel so that over-preparing can be a bit of a wrongdoing with this? Because if you over-prepare, you have some expectations.
Personally, I think that over-preparing is a downfall. However, that is not saying that you can, you know, that I'm sure that there are dungeon masters out there that can prepare and still be able to improv as well.
Yeah.
However, for me personally, and I feel like for most people out there, if you do over-prepare, you will, even potentially subconsciously without realising it, start to try and railroad your players to do what you've prepared, because you've put all this effort into, being prepared for a particular path.
Yeah.
If your players don't take that particular path, all of a sudden all this hours of effort that you put into preparation has gone down the drain. So you might even subconsciously, without even realising it, push them in that direction a little bit. Which sometimes is okay if the players need a small nudge or a reminder about the main plot or something of the campaign. But I think it's you don't want to fall into the trap of railroading your players or forcing your players into a particular direction purely because this is what you've prepared for.
Yeah.
You really want to make sure that you can say, yeah, sure. An example, the last session that I ran that you were playing in, you guys did a few things that sort of were like, I was totally left, but I didn't even think. Probably could have, if I was more prepared, probably could have done a little bit of preparation around it, but did stuff. There was one where your character, you were going, there was this little mini side quest I created where you guys had to try and hunt down unknown either enemy or monster or something to try and find your allies. Yeah. And you said, because no one in the group was really a tracker, your character said, hey, is there like a hunter or someone in town that you know of that we could go and talk to? And I loved the idea. I was like, that's a really cool idea. You're thinking outside the box. You're trying to integrate the town into this little side quest as well. Certainly not something that I prepared for. I didn't have like a hunter pre-made that was like, oh yeah, I'm sure you're going to ask to see this guy.
Yeah.
But it was that sort of moment where I feel like it was much better for me to just be like, yeah, sure. Like, yep, if you talked, you were speaking to the guards at the time.
Yeah.
The guards pointed you in the direction. I sort of improv someone on the go and, it sort of added to the story. And I feel like, do you think that you felt like you were directly impacting the story, I guess, with, having things that you were looking into pan out or becoming real or you know what I mean? Like...
Well, impacting the story, like... I was my
Well, for example, I feel like if I had have said no, there's no hunter. You know what I mean. All of a sudden, it would have been like, all right, Ben hasn't prepared for that. There's only a finite amount of impact I can have on what's going on.
I think if you said there was no hunter or anything like that, I might have had the thought like, okay, maybe you didn't prepare for a hunter. You don't want us to have a hunter. That might be like an inclination. Inclination.
Yeah.
Is that the word?
I don't know what the end of your sentence is, so I'm not sure.
I have like a brain fuzz, where I would have been thinking, oh yeah, you're steering us onto a certain track. But yeah, when you said there was a hunter and that we could go see him and we can go and do this, in my head was like, oh, maybe he did prepare for a hunter, and maybe we were supposed to do this. That was then cut short until you told us the name. And I was like,
I thought the name was good, Jameson. I thought it was a good name. There's nothing wrong with, semi-normal names sometimes.
That's okay. I just
Very defensive over my name.
But yeah, I think it can go both ways where you can probably pick up on maybe some improv that the DM may be doing, or when, something is not prepared for as well.
Yeah.
So I felt like I did impact I felt like I had some kind of impact on the...
Yeah. I guess, for me though, like, it's about having that mindset of, when things don't go as planned. The important part, I guess, from the DM's perspective is when things don't go as planned, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just go with what your players are giving you. You know what I mean? Like, even what you said, like, we're not meant to have this help. Like, you guys are meant to be able to do what you want to do in the world, and you guys can make the decisions. And whether or not it's something that I'm super thrilled about, you guys can obviously make your own decisions in the world and impact the world around you. So I feel like it's really important. So even if things don't go the way you've planned them as a dungeon master, let them unfold. Let the party, make creative solutions and entirely get around a dungeon that you prepared. And, make them feel, congratulate them on, outsmarting this puzzle, or, improv a character that they're looking for because they want help on this particular quest, or let them make the choices and then deal with either the positive or negative outcomes from that. Yeah, because just because something isn't going the way you planned it doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. It just means that it might be a little bit harder, a little bit more intimidating to improv it, but it's part of the fun.
Yeah, exactly.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
The skill you can develop.
The memories you can make.
All right, we're getting into the realm of very corny.
I just wanted to hit back on that one. Volley it. Volley the corny phrases.
Yes. Well done. Not as good as just roll it.
Just roll it.
You do the click as well. But yeah, that's, I guess, the sort of what we mean, I guess, when things... I don't like saying when things go wrong. When things don't go to plan, I feel like is a better way of doing it, both as a player and as a dungeon master.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I reckon that, does it. It can be both positive and negative. Like, it has both of those qualities.
Yeah, and I feel like at the end of the day, it's up to how you take it, is whether it is going to be a positive or a negative. If you, if things don't go the way you've planned it and you just end up enjoying it and experience it and, having a pitfall that you can then overcome later, then great. Whereas if you sort of throw your hands up and get the poops about it, you're not going to enjoy the game very much.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready for the joke?
Yes. Lay it on me.
Oh, no, sorry. I forgot it for a second. I'm fine. It's been a long day. All right. Okay. I'm just making sure I can remember the punchline. It'll be good, I promise. Okay.
Don't ruin the punchline.
It's fine. Okay. Why did the dragon sleep all day?
Why?
Because he wanted to fight the night.
Oh my god. At first I was like, what? Fight the
Come on,
night.
that's good.
Yeah, no, that one was good.
That's
was
good.
clever.
I think that
Very
was good.
clever.
Yeah, I like it. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining for this week's Married to Dragons.
I'm impressed that we've actually been able to manage to make it through talking tonight. We're both
a bit fuzz-brained.
Fuzz-brained after the days we've
Yeah.
had today. I think hopefully we've had no internet connection issues. We've been smashed with storms where we are at the moment, so it's been one thing after another today.
I think everything actually went quite smoothly, so it's a plus. But yeah, we'll be back next week with more Married to Dragons. We'll be covering more of the D&D Live.
All things D&D, things D&D related.
Yep, we'll have a jam-packed episode and...
Obviously another fantastic joke. I mean, let's be honest, that's the main reason why people tune in.
Exactly. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, we'll be back next week at 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time.
Thanks again, guys. We'll see you then.
All right, thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you so much for stopping by to watch this video. If you like what you're seeing, why not check out this video here? Or if you really like us, drop us a subscribe. And don't forget to like and comment as well. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.